Oh, hi, YouTube and everybody else out there. This is Jamie Williams, and I want to give you an update of my breast cancer journey slash everyday life journey. Um, so some of you know, some of you don't know, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in October. Long story short, it took me forever to get in between the holidays, authorizations, uh, COVID. Um, so it took me a while to get going. Started my first chemo February 5th, and I'm currently going on my third chemo appointment, hopefully March 12th, with erythromycin, which is like a hard drug for chemo. So I just wanted to backtrack a little bit. So the first time when you hear you have cancer, it's just kind of one of those things that actually in the year of 2020, it was like, well, what else? I mean, I couldn't get overly upset about it because 2020 has brought a lot of heartache to a lot of people. And it's kind of like watching somebody do like a really wicked dance down the yellow brick road. You never know what they're going to give you. You're not going to find, all these great things down the yellow brick road. You're finding all these like coronavirus and, um, people having mental breakdowns and things are happening in the year 2020. So when I got a diagnosis of cancer, I just took it in stride. I just kind of went on with my life until I could get into chemo. No, I'm very fortunate. I have a diagnosis that is HER2 negative, ERPR positive. That means I just produce too much estrogen. Um, but it's a common uh, breast cancer diagnosis, and it's the best that responds to chemo. So, having said that, that's the good news. The bad news is it's still cancer, and cancer is the dividing of cells, which everybody's cells divide, but some people's cells, they're not dying off the way they should. So because it's not dying off, it starts to form cancer cells. Not all the cells are cancer. Some are not. Some are what I'll just say. It's just normal cells in your body. It just doesn't die. And sometimes it's hard to determine a lump. Like I didn't feel a lump like other people might say, oh gosh, that felt like a rock or it felt like a lump. Or it kind of, from my feeling, it felt kind of like harder than uh, my normal skin, but I couldn't tell if it was just, from wearing different type of clothing that maybe would cause a calcification. It didn't feel like an actual lump. Like, um, and some questions I get asked over and over and over and over, and doesn't matter if I answer it here because I'm still going to get asked the question. But they ask me, like, don't just cut off your breast, then the cancer will go away. Well, in my case, and that could happen, you could cut off your breast and the cancer could go away, but not in my case because I produce more estrogen. So I could cut off my breast, I can get new breasts, I could have no breast, doesn't matter. I'm not going to stop the production of the estrogen, which will continue to give me the same way to handle it, which would be through chemotherapy, um, surgery, and hormone uh, therapy, which is like pills for the next 10 years. Now, if I cut it off, I still have to go through the chemotherapy, surgery. Well, surgery would be first. And if I cut it off first, like say, if I went the route like, oh my gosh, I have breast cancer, I'm just going to cut off my breast. Well, because they didn't know how much the spread was going to be, they would take out all the lymph nodes from my arms, which your lymph node is like kind of like a dumping ground in your body that you don't even think of, but you have like maybe 20 to 40 under an armpit. And if you take them all out, there's no place for the body to throw things, the dumping ground things, whatever that is. Whatever, if it's from something gross from a Red Bull or the casing to your vitamin, whatever, it's like a dumping ground. Um, in my case, I had the cancer spread to one lymph node, which gave me a stage 2 to 3, and I'm only stage 2 to 3 because the size of the tumor was quite large. So I'm not stage 4, I'm between 2 and 3 because I didn't have a spreading of the lymph node, because the lymph nodes will show how much it actually spread. And, I didn't even know to check for that. Like your lymph node is like, I would consider it like a little pimple underneath your arm and a little bump. And for intents purposes, we shave our arms. Sometimes you have ingrown hairs or something. You don't even know that's going on. So, long story short, I opted to keep my breasts because I'm not going to get new breasts. I'm not going to have no breasts if I'm going to go through the same thing, same type of treatment. But cancer is not one size fits all. So I just want you to realize that that may be an option for you, because if you do have this diagnosis, it's not one size fits all. Or you could cut off your breast and then the cancer still grows and you're like, how'd that happen? I don't have any breast, because it's not a one size fit all type of deal. So let's talk about emotionally. I'm feeling great. I mean, I don't look great. I don't have any makeup on. And at this point, I don't have any hair. One day I'll get to share um, that. And I thought that was just gonna bum me out because I decided to grow out my hair, and my hair was growing out so great. And then this happened, and it's like, seriously? And, you know, I think the people who deal in the area of cancer, it's just another thing for them. So they get a little bit insensitive. So as they talk to you, they're like, yeah, your hair's gonna grow out, hairs are gonna grow out, fall out, you're not gonna have any eyebrows, which I barely have any. They didn't really fall out. They were already falling out. You're not gonna have any eyelashes, you're gonna be like an egg with eyes. And you kind of like, wow, well, that's attractive. But then again, it's like, okay, it's 2020. I mean, I can't even get out. I wear a mask in half the time anyway. So it's kind of like, who really cares what I look like? Or who really knows what I look like anymore? I have to do one of these videos for you to know what I look like. And really, I should have put makeup on, but I didn't. So anyway, emotionally, the biggest thing I grabbed out of this whole thing is that so many people are dealing with cancer, have had cancer, but they're not having a conversation. I'm having a conversation. I wish that more people would have had the conversation, especially in my family, because there's a lot of breast cancer in my family. But when you go to if no one talks about it and you go to the doctor and they say, do you have breast cancer? And you're like, no. Does it run in your family? And you're like, no. Then they don't give you any special look-see, you know. I think the medical establishment takes people for granted that are going through illnesses of any kind, because you become like a number to them. You're like, let's get them in, let's get them out, let's treat them. And it's up to you to try to get your treatment in. And the biggest thing that if I could say, I wish I had done better, but I was so exhausted, I didn't know how to do it better, was just to get into my treatment initially, because I called and I was like, I need to get into the doctor. I think I have a breast lump. And they're like, well, the doctor's only seeing 7 patients a day. And I'm like, but I think I have a lump in my breast. Oh, you think you have a lump in your breast? Yeah. Well, it's only seeing 7 patients a day. So we can schedule you for here. And before, I had no energy. Like I literally, because I was dealing with anemia, I didn't know that. So I had no energy, no strength. Like, okay, just put me on the schedule. Um, then when I finally got to my mammogram, I tell the lady, hey, I have a lump in my breast. So she does the whole mammogram thing. And then she comes to me and she said, you didn't tell me you had a lump in your breast. I said, I not only told you, I told the people that I signed that signed me up for the mammogram. I told you while you were doing the mammogram. So I don't think they listen. So if I want to change anything, I want to do what they call a telephone chain, where when a person feels like they need to get into their doctor and their doctor is putting them off. And I've heard a lot of stories, so it's not just me, because you could be like, well, Jamie, you're just kind of lazy, which is true. I ain't gonna lie. If I don't get it the first time, I'm gonna take a nap. But I felt better listening to other people's stories and being like, okay, this is a thing. This isn't just me. This is a thing. When a person feels like they have a lump, the medical establishment just fits them into whatever makes it comfortable for them. And I feel like we need to make it uncomfortable for them, at least to get people into their very first appointment so they can see if they have a lump. So that's one thing I'm going to implement, is a telephone chain. If you feel like you have a lump and your doctor tells you, we just can't get you in today, call me and I'll call them and say you need to get in. And then I would love to have 7 people a day calling for people until the doctors know these girls are serious. If they have a lump, they need to be seen and seen today. Because at the end of the day, it's your life and it's your family's life. And I tend to take things for granted because I'm a blessed person. I'm a blessed person. I mean, my whole life is blessed. My Heavenly Father blesses me and has seen me through a ton of illnesses that when you're younger, you just think, well, that's not going to be me. I'm not going to have cancer. I'm not going to have this, or I'm not going to have that. And then it's you and you have all that stuff. But because you're so taken care of, that you just take it for granted, like I'm going to be taken care of. So I have this faith meter that's like super high. I don't expect anything but healing. But just because I have a high faith doesn't mean that people around me have high faith, and that, that they don't know the Heavenly Father like I do. So they don't know if He can deliver. So, there's a lot of emotion behind that because, I am a mother. So in some respects, I'm somebody's world, maybe not your world, but my kids' world. And, I have super high hopes I'm going to get through this. I feel great. I look at it as an opportunity to help others. Having said that, I still have to go through my treatment. I'm doing 4 treatments of erythromycin, which is like the same things that they gave the people in the Holocaust in the gas chamber. It was meant to break you down, make your body go into pain, make you nauseated, terrible things. Now, there's medications to combat all that, and I'm on those medications. As long as I take those medications, I don't experience nausea. I don't experience pain because I'm taking what they call Neulasta or Claritin, which is not only for allergies, but it does something with the big bones of the body where it helps relieve the pain. So what else? After the 4 treatments of erythromycin, I'll be going to Taxol, which is supposed to be a simpler drug. And with that, I'll be able to go back to work. Now, is it going to make COVID go away? No, or whatever. Like, there's COVID, there's the fear of COVID, there is truth and lies. And is it going to stop the madness? No, I'm still going to walk into a world of madness. If I had my way, and I'm going to work on this, I would love to just be able to help people through their journeys, or like a life coach type of thing, or people through their spiritual journeys as well. Because 2020 is, if you haven't noticed, it's an opportunity to really, deal with your spiritual side and kind of get it together. So what else? I am actually very much valuing the time I have at home. I don't get it. I work and I it's not good for me to stop working because I don't really have a purpose to stop working. But now it's kind of like I can see a purpose to stop working eventually. So I feel like I'm being blessed and transitioned. I just want to also say, some of you know, some of you don't know. If you didn't know, it's not because I didn't want to tell you. It's like, I don't want to put my business out there necessarily. The only people who know are people who are family or very close friends. But I want you to be able to be a part of the journey, have the conversation, know that I'm with you if you have it. And if you have questions about it, because I'm, past 50 and I never even had cancer on my radar, which is probably not very smart. I probably should have just been like, okay, you need to think about that. So I'm just looking forward to what's ahead. And I hope that we could all be in this journey together. And I hope to be able to help people who have breast cancer, whether it's a contactless food train or a place to talk, or whatever it is. I just think it's just a part of a journey. Not everybody makes it through. It is fatal for some. So I can't be like, well, it's easy for me, and why isn't it easy for you? I don't know. There's hundreds of thousands of cancer diagnoses and hundreds of thousands of ways to treat it. It's like a formula. Your cancer produces a formula for treatment. So depending on what you got going on, there's a formula for you. The sad thing is that it's like that. In this area, it's a lot of crops, a lot of farming. They say it's a high level for cancer. So it's not just the fact that, well, you don't take care of yourself, or you should feel guilty about that. I think I did feel guilty about that. Like, I could tell that I had no energy, and that would bother me because, I had a walking group, and I would always be the last one walking. I was the leader, and they were waiting for me all the time. And I was slowly losing my energy, and I didn't even know then. I could have been growing that cancer for 2 to 5 years, because the cancer that I have, they said it was growing at least for 2 to 5 years. So, you don't always know what you're going through or what's happening. And so it's easy for someone to say, well, if you just get up and, go to the gym or go walk 3 miles, and it's easy for someone to look and say, it's easy for me, it should be easy for you. Or my life is easy, your life should be easy. You know, it's kind of, we have to come to this place where everybody's different. I mean, I know that we want to say everybody's the same, but everybody's not the same. That's what if you believe in devil, if you believe in the God or devil, or the devil wants everybody to be the same, everybody be the same clone, everybody be a Kardashian, everybody be, you know, just, you just be a clone, because that is the only way he can manage dealing with people. If you believe in him, and it doesn't matter if you do or not, but that's basically how it is. Be a clone. That's why you got that in Hollywood. Everybody's a clone, clone, clone. But really, we're all individuals. Now, you could try to be a clone, but even in being a clone, you're doing that individually. So we're all individual. We all do individual walk. And this is mine. So please join me. And I hope to have updated information on this last chemo that I have. Basically, I just want to tell you the treatment. I sit there for 2 hours while they pump me full of stuff that's supposed to kill every cell in your body. And and then after that, they put this thing on my arm. Maybe I'll show you. It's called, I forget what it's called, but it has like a little green light, and it gives me a shot after my chemo that will pump me full of white blood cells so that I have a high immunity. So yeah, so that's basically my treatment every other week. And then I just manage all that with pills and water and life, and I just manage it until I get to my next treatment. So that's it. You guys have a wonderful day. I will be updating you probably after this treatment I have on the 12th, if I get this treatment. Hopefully I do. You have a wonderful day. Okay, bye-bye.